Hey guys, it's Matt. I, ju- I just started the video. What if this happens every single time? What the heck? Okay, I didn't get too much into the video, guys. I'll be back. Okay, I want to talk about prepping, but not in the way you think, not in the way we used to talk about it 6 or 7 or 8 years ago. Prepping and all the economic collapse and all that stuff. No, I was into the economic collapse videos big time, guys, and essentially we were right because it would have all collapsed. You know my thoughts on this. It would have all melted down. It would have been 1929, the Great Depression, times 10 or times 100. But we didn't realize at the time, I didn't realize, I mean, I would think most of us didn't realize that the economy was completely fake. It was a video game at that point. We thought there were real forces of supply and demand, and that no longer exists now, obviously. But when we were into these economic collapse videos from the SGT report and all their guests and the X22 report, we thought there were still market forces and didn't realize it was just a video game. So I was, I paid attention to a lot of the prepping videos. I'm sure many of you did. I'm thrilled that I never got head over heels in terms of prepping. And the reason, because it's all managed. If there is a crisis, it'll be a cooked up crisis. It'll be a managed crisis. And in my opinion, the duration of the crisis will be relatively short term. But then again, there's these, I hate the term, don't you, black swan event. Who's the a-hole that created that stupid term, black swan event, just to probably scare people? Either way, I still think there are things that can happen in this world, but maybe not. I believe there's a few things that could happen that what we call not nilk isn't, I know the lighting sucks, guys, isn't completely in control of. Few things. I think it's in control. Back in the day when many of us here were into prepping, and again, I never got head over heels. I'll tell you what I did and what I think about it now. We thought the not nilk, or I don't know when I started using that term, this entity here was in control of 60, 70, 80%. Now it is a supernatural world. It's a fake world, and it's in control of like 99%. If there's a crisis, we wake up one day and there's a banking crisis, it will all be part of the script, all be part of the play. So why prep? Of course, there's a percentage of us in the truth research community that think they're just gonna make everybody go kaput. They're like they're gonna wipe out their own crop, their own stock, their own herds. No, they need us. They need us. Though they're not. We've been over that. No, they're not going to cull us all. And those that talked about, again, every time I have to mention, they use the word pesticide or insecticide. It sounds like genocide. They use those words around CV, that's what was going to happen with the renting of the Action Jackson movie with Carl Weathers. It never happened, of course, because farmer just doesn't go take out his own crop. Farmer just doesn't go take out his own herd. So they need us probably for reality creation itself. The whole reality wouldn't exist if at least certain groups of us didn't exist. So they need us, guys. And if as crises come, they will come. But just sit back, laugh, put your feet up, because 99% of it will be just as Albert Pike planned it to be. And I'm not, when I say that, I don't think it's, you guys know, I don't believe it's managed by the smoking rooms and the secret societies. This is a supernatural realm, a fluid reality. And there's a million things going on that we'll never, ever be able to wrap our heads around while we're at least alive in the body. So in terms of talking about prepping, there seems to be no in-between. And I think the in-between, I think it's still prudent to prepare for a few months for whatever might happen. But in terms of many people here, exactly the types of videos I'm talking about. And I know Canadian Prepper seems like a nice guy, but he's still doing his thing. And there's a lot of fear associated with a lot of those videos. And not really saying too much different than he said eight years ago or whatever. But, it seems like, again, I don't want to get on the wrong side. He seems like a nice guy. I think I remember in the old days, maybe corresponded or left a few comments on his videos. He left a few comments on me. But I just see now the world is so fake and so contrived and so scripted. There's no reason to go that far in terms of prepping. Something happens, it's all by design. Put your feet up and laugh. So I never truly got into it big time, but let me finish my thought. There's like no in between, and it still seems to be this way, where you have, on one end of the spectrum, there'll be people like my friend Tony, my high school friend Tony, who, what are you doing in case in the winter the electricity goes out for a month or 6 weeks or whatever may happen? Nothing. You conspiracy people are paranoid. I don't do anything. There's that. I want to talk about that. Put your head in the sand. That's those people have been proven more right than the hardcore preppers because the proof is in the pudding. Nothing has happened. But that philosophy of I don't need to do anything. That's just wrong too. But there's the other side of the hardcore preppers that we saw the videos, or we dabbled in this a bit, where you see people, I know people with tens of thousands of rounds of different types of ammo, or less than that, preppers that have brick after brick after, it's called bricks of ammo, brick of waiting at Walmart for the 22 LR to be restocked, the 22 long rifle. Walmart stocked out for months and months. You had to almost wait. Oh, here comes the 22 LR, which is a small caliber ammunition off the truck, and it's all bought up. The not created that situation, of course, and I fell into it to a degree, as many of you did. I remember back in the day, walking. I wasn't there waiting for it, but I saw, Walmart has 5 little bricks left of 22 LR. I'll buy up the 5 bricks, whatever. I don't have that much. I'm not anywhere near some of these preppers that you've seen videos for. But then they get into canning, and they have their own well dug, and it's just way too much. There's no reason for that, because one, if it's all not milk managed, it'll never come to that. Again, the people in general are their crop, are their herd. The not milk, whatever you believe it to be, it doesn't exist without the people, at least without the real spiritual being. They're not going to wipe everybody out. It's their crop. Anyway, so whatever happens, like I said, will be managed. But this prepping community just went too far. If you have to have your own well, and you have to have a way to you can desalinate seawater in your backyard, and and you have thousands and thousands of rounds of whatever ammunition of choice. If the world gets to that, only 1/2 of 1/2 of 1/2 of 1/2 of 1% is gonna make it anyway. It's just, no one's gonna make it anyway, unless you are hardcore and that is your life. And most people that got into prepping they emulated that, but they didn't go that far. So even out of the hardcore preppers, only 5% of them are going to make it. I mean, people talk about hunting, and the animals that exist around suburban areas would only, if everybody decided to go out and hunt at the same time, even the squirrels, they'd last for just a day or two. Then right at the end of the week, there'd be nothing but an old pack of M&Ms that you left under the couch that you forgot about. People talk about hunting. Well, anyway, it's ridiculous. So there's no reason. It's a fake world. Everything's managed. The crisis will be managed. The crisis will be cooked up and planned. There's no reason to prep more than my prepping standard is 2 months. If it's could not bring a scare to us where we're not sure of things for 2 months, that's pushing it. I doubt it. When it goes to the new currency and leaves the US dollar behind, it'll cook up a crisis. It'll scare the heck out of everybody. So everybody flocks to the new currency. But it'll be, they'll close the banks. It'll be two weeks of scariness. I don't think they'll push it for 2 months, but I think that's a reasonable standard. 2 months. The hardcore preppers have, with all their supplies and their freeze-dried foods from their American Patriot supplies, they go 5-10 years. I'm sorry if it gets to that. 95, 98% of those people aren't even going to make it. 99 point whatever percentage of the population isn't going to make it if it gets to that. I thought about this many times. If it goes more than 2 months, what's the point? Why would you want to live in all these movies we've seen about the dystopia or what the wasteland looks like after the war? And this is a great opportunity to do the humongous. I forgot. Just walk away. Just walk away. It'll spare your lives. There's been too much pain. If it gets to that, do you want to live in it anyway? I don't. And Mr. Humongous, what are you wearing? Look how you're dressed. He's wearing a little, like a Speedo with a helmet. Who dresses you, sir? Who wants to live like that anyway? Like Mad Max. So 2 months is my standard. But what do you need to do for 2 months? Almost nothing. I mean, you need 8 or 9 boxes of pasta. You need always keep an extra 15 or 20 cans of chunky soup, like you've heard me say that before, which I can't even really eat that anymore. It does not agree with me. It's so fake. It's so chemicals. I don't want to gross you out. I need to switch to something else, like some kind of soup that's a little better, like Progresso or something. 15 to 20 cans, 10, 12 cans of tuna fish. You could easily go, one meal a day for 5 days and don't eat two. Anybody can get through 2 months, almost with what you have around the house now. I mean, you'd lose 7, 8, 9, 10 pounds. You'd be ripped, abs. I mean, it would be a great thing. Look, anybody can go 2 months, but that's my standard. To try to prep out for 5 to 10 years is ridiculous. As I've said in other videos, in terms of those that keep firearms, or if you have to, let's just say to keep the humongous gang from, I remember using these terms years and years ago, coming down my driveway to steal firewood. If it gets to that, if gangs are coming down my driveway to steal firewood or whatever, and I have to, a few rounds in the air to scare, if you have to set off more than a few rounds, whether it be real or to scare, more than just 1 or 2 times, then it's so bad it's not going to matter anyway. We're not going to make it anyway, see? So there's no point in having more than 1 or 2 bricks of ammo. If you have to use more than 1 brick, well, things are so bad you're not ever going to need to use the 3rd or 4th, and people have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of bricks. So, but they're the one that's going to make it. Why would you even want to make it? Why would anybody even be afraid of death? I mean, I don't want to just, whatever. I'm not going to go try to spray paint a bridge, and if I fall, I'm not going to take reckless risks. But I'm 55. I'd like to live out my term. But I mean, in terms of my fear is pain. In terms of what I experienced with the hospital visit now 5 months ago, I had no idea that level of pain was possible. And my fear is pain, not death. It's 1%. We're all going to fear a little bit about the unknown. 1% fear of death. 99% fear of being in a situation where, well, then you'd have to take matters. I'm not going to say it. I don't know. I don't know what can be said on certain platforms anymore. But let's get back to on the other side of here, or this side of the spectrum. You have your hardcore preppers, canning their own wells. Okay, we've been over that. All this ammo. And then down the other side of the spectrum is most people in society, represented by your cousin, your brother, my friend Tony. And here's I just shake my head at this. And if I don't know if I'll remember to show you a picture of the stove, guys, but I told him. Well, at first I got the old Colebrookdale stove on Craigslist, which is an old, huge 500-pound iron classic from it was sitting in this guy's garage for 20 some years, built in the UK like maybe almost close to 30 years ago. And just don't make iron like that anymore. So anyway, I put that one in. I'll be real brief here, guys. I'll try to be 1 minute or less. I had I had the lung clot, and I don't know exactly what caused that. No, I didn't rent the Action Jacksonation movie. Okay, I told you I did not do that. But I had the lung clot, which could be attributed to the stove or the way I was adjusting the damper. Just to be safe, I put the old stove back in. Been healthy. It's for 18 years. It's been in. It's old, but it drafts straight up. So I either offered Tony the old stove, which is still a great Yodel stove, or the Colebrookdale. And I think I offered him the Colebrookdale. Here's what happened, guys. The people that just have their head in the sand and they won't do any prepping, any preparation whatsoever. I said, I got 2 stoves here. And I'm not, look, guys, I want to keep the Colebrookdale just as, if anybody reaches out to me, it's just a piece of history. It's like I have like a museum piece in my house. I like looking at it. But I offered it, I would still offer to my best friend, Tony. And other than Greg, Greg's now my co-best friend. And I said, you have he lives in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. I said, you got kids, a family, you have a fireplace. All these homes are built with a fireplace. Do you ever use it? Of course they don't use it. So, but it looks nice. I said, well, What if something happens? I said I could set up one of the best iron stoves in the history of the world, a Colebrookdale Severin. We could set this up, set back in your, giving it to him, in your fireplace. You just would need to spend whatever, $1,000 to have installers come in, help us out, and then line your chimney. It's there. You don't use it anyway, right? You don't use the fireplace. No, we don't use that. If anything were to happen, I mean, talk about peace of mind. I said, if anything were to happen, all you need to do then is keep 80, 120 pieces of dried wood in the garage. Isn't it incredible peace of mind, Tony, that if anything were to happen, you and your family, the electricity goes out for 3 weeks in the middle of January, and our lows here, when it's extremely cold, we'll get into the single digits at night. When it's extremely cold, we rarely flirt with zero here, even under the worst of situations. We are not Massachusetts or Vermont or New Hampshire or Maine or Canada here in Pennsylvania, but we're much, much colder than Virginia and North Carolina. I said, what if it was 2 weeks, no electricity, Tony? You have this incredible stove. You get your wood, you'd be warm, not just huddling around it. Your whole downstairs would be 65, 70 degrees. Now he's not interested. I don't understand it. I'm not saying to put some, I don't know, like asking him to put some junked car in the front yard on the lawn or something. Well, this will help you out in an emergency, Tony. You could always sell the parts from this junk car. Don't take this old Buick I have with the wheels coming off and the hood's all rusted. I put this piece of absolute horse shit on your front yard. I'm not putting a beautiful. I'll try to remember to put a picture of the stove, guys. A Colebrookdale Severin he doesn't use it. It's there. If he ever needs it. Okay, I could talk about this forever. It blows my mind. The peace of mind of that is just off the charts. Electricity for 2 weeks, no problem. Whole house will be warm. He's not interested. It's free. Well, trust me, he makes good money. He could have to spend $1,000 for installers to line the chimney with a liner. That's what most people are like. They won't do one thing towards preparation. It's very, very odd. I mean, because what's so strange about it, those people believe that the events of the world can happen, like a nuclear war. Many of us don't think that could happen for many reasons. They believe in all that. They believe that the Kim Jong-un is trying to plot some sort of attack, or they believe that the T-ism threat. They believe in all the threats that come from the news. Then they could forget the C, the V of 2020. Remember the Ebola scare and things where they believe all these black swan events are possible, and we don't believe they are because we see it's all managed. Yet they won't prepare. It is the download. It's absolutely unbelievable. So that makes no sense. No sense. He won't. He probably doesn't. It's all like just in time eating. He won't even. He probably doesn't even have a few backup boxes of pasta. Excuse me, Czar. So, but then you have the other extreme. They can their own. The extreme survivalists, which is just as ridiculous, because I don't think they don't see how not milk managed this reality is. So, but middle of the road, to me it makes sense. Probably have 2 months of food and stuff around the house now. Many canned goods the canned good where you have to pull the top, that makes it easier. That that sometimes won't last more than a year or so, or sometimes a year or two, or even more. But got to be careful what I say here. Past the expiration date. But a canned good that's a sealed can. I may have told you the story how I ate. Was it Dole pineapple chunks? 10 years after the expiration, it was soggy. I'm like, what the hell? What is this? That's okay. 10 years. I looked at that's 10 years. Not 10 years from purchase. 10 years after the expiration date. It was a sealed can, not the pull top. You can get. I can't say. You can get a lot out of a sealed can. Prep? No. For an individual. 35, 40 cans. Get you 2 months. You'd lose 7 to 10 pounds. You'd look good. People won't do it. It's unbelievable. When I was really watching all these videos, the X22 report, SGT report, economic collapse is imminent. Oh, if Brexit comes, the economic collapse is coming. If Brexit comes, well, there's Brexit. Oh, the stock market fell for 3 days and then it just went right back. Oh, all these pundits, whatever, or all these experts saying the collapse is coming because of Brexit and it recovered in 4 days. And we know why. If anybody's new, we know why it recovered in 4 days, because everything in the economy is fake. It is literally a video game. Didn't mean for anybody to misinterpret what I was saying. It's literally supply and demand is taken care of by some sort of AI. It can inject money anywhere it wants, pull money and take the other side of a bet. It can inject money and inflate the price of gold, pull down the price of gold or silver via its GLD and ETF funds anytime it wants. That's the purpose of these damn ETF funds. It's been now, I don't know. It's been 12, 13, 14 years since. I will never have another investment. Well, I mean, at this point, guys, I live off your contributions. It's not a lot of excess at the end of the month anyway. But I just even for my let's just say I still have a 401k from the old insurance company that you can't get to. It's not that much, but you can't get to without penalty till 59 and a half. That's all of it's out of the market. I just want nothing to do with it. And before during the hyperinflation, if you have family or kids or whatever, when the hyperinflation starts, and it's for some reason they keep managing it. It seems like it should already have started, the hyperinflation. The stocks will hyperinflate too. So you have to be very careful because it will crash down real hard, just maybe in one day. But there will be a hyperinflationary effect, in my opinion, once the dollar loses like all value, and they're getting ready to switch to whatever the new currency is going to be, or the new world currency, or currency via the phone, or non-debt based system that they will do eventually. And again, I don't believe that a debt that pushes 40 trillion I don't believe it can go on forever. Of course, it just the good news, though, guys, as we talk about this in the video about once every 6 months, but this isn't the purpose of this video. Whatever the new system is, the new world currency, it's all ready to go. It's all done. It's just how they want to roll it out, what type of crisis they'll present to the world so they can roll it out, how much pain they need to inflict on everybody so everybody flocks to the new currency. As I said, all the corporations, the big corporations, magically will be all ready to take it. Even McDonald's will be just 7 or 8 days, they'll be ready to take the new currency. What a coincidence. Well, they have the parameters for it now of how to accept it. And they'll close the banks for a week, and it'll be scary. Hopefully it won't be scary for us. We'll just laugh. And 2 months is what I do. I did in terms of prepping, and every once a year I make a video similar to this, where it is good if you have any excess at all to buy real things. I don't want to. You guys have heard this many times from me and others. I won't spend more than a minute or two on this, but if you have cash sitting in and I don't think they've managed it this long. I think they're going to be able to manage it for years more. I'm not saying this is the time, or I hope I wasn't kind of alluding that in this video. If they've managed it for this long, they're going to keep it going for quite a while longer. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe 5 years, or they've kept it going this long. They'll keep it going longer than we possibly could imagine. I don't know how they've even doing it now, pushing 40 trillion in debt. So I'm not trying to. I want to make sure everybody doesn't think I'm predicting something here. At some point, they'll need to switch to the new currency, but there's no imminent issue, in my opinion. So I was talking about buying real things. If you have any excess, I have a supply of fire bricks, as you know. That's like my prep. I build little stove designs on the stove advice channel. Fire bricks. When I started buying fire bricks, I didn't buy them for prep purposes, but when I started buying them years and years ago, I don't know, they're like $1.55 or something. Now they're up to up to $2.10 or $2.15 per fire brick. Not really. Some of the building supplies that I deal in, at least, there's been the least amount of inflationary effect A brick, I remember bricks being like 50, 60 cents, and now they're like $1.05, a regular brick paver, at least where I go. Fisano Brothers. It's not that bad. And I know in some building materials have come down, but even sheets of plywood, 4x8 sheet of plywood, 3/4 inch exterior was up to almost $50 at one point. So you can't go wrong buying real things. Like if you might need to put a new roof on. Somebody listening to this, if you got $30,000, now new roof is expensive and everything. You have $30,000 sitting in a bank, you don't own anything. You go to, I'd like to see my money. There's nothing here. Ain't nothing down there, Lieutenant. There's nothing there. So use the digits on your statement to put the new roof on that you have to do anyway. That's converting fake into real, at least. I mean, why not? So convert to real things whenever possible. Not kitchen upgrades where your wife gets the 6 burners and I had a friend in the insurance business. His wife was a real disaster and it didn't work out. His marriage, let's just say his marriage didn't work out. I could tell you stories that you couldn't possibly, well, many of you could possibly imagine because it happened to you. But what she did to him, I've never seen anything like it during the divorce proceeding. Anyway, she had to have the brand new 60. I've talked about this before on the channel. $60,000 to $70,000 kitchen, a 6 new burner range, boiling water almost on demand. It was almost at 200 degrees on demand. All this stuff. I'm not talking about putting your money in the bank into that horse shit. You need a new roof. You need new plumbing, new hot water heater. That makes sense. Anyways, we all know this, Matt. What's the point? Why am I wasting my time with this presentation? Okay. There was one thing I was missing. What I did. So I'm not buying real. The house is the house, and it was built in the early 70s. I can do little repairs on it. But I did when I was watching these prepper videos, and I was right in the middle of it. And again, for several years, I was watching the X22 report and the SGT report and all these. I mentioned what was these guests? What's that? Road to Ruta guest. Remember that? And there was I forget all the different names. Steve Quayle. Yeah, that was a name. I remember. So I started to buy. They said for trading purposes because this Armageddon's coming, this apocalypse, the whole world's going to melt down. I was in the middle of it in terms of watching these videos. I was scared because we really believed in real supply and demand. We didn't know how fake it was. So I bought up, I don't know, I still have it downstairs. This is probably like 8 bottles of vodka. This is bought up over years, 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12, 5 bottles of gin, 4 or 5 bottles of whiskey. I don't have a liquor store downstairs. I have 20 to 25 bottles because it doesn't go bad. It lasts 100 years as long as it's over 80 proof. It will last over 100 years, unopened, and it could be used for barter. And I fell for it. We didn't know. We didn't know the whole economy was fake and there was no more force of supply and demand. And we thought this black swan event, if things were real, it would have melted down. There's nothing behind it. But it's absolute, utter fakery. And we just didn't realize how fake it was. So I did some, that's, okay. And I also, I bought a few bricks. Let's just put bricks of, of 22 bricks of 9 millimeter, those sorts of bricks, not bricks that I stack for stove experiments. I bought up, it's not, again, it's nothing. It's just, it's nothing compared to what you've seen. Well, I did a little bit of that over the 2008 to 2012. But my prepping compared to most truth researchers, I don't know, not even 10% of what most of them did, and not even 1% compared to the ridiculous stuff we've seen videos about, or those that hang out, watching the Canadian Prepper channel and things like that. But the point is, guys, I mostly want to talk about Tony, and it is prudent to do a little bit of something, and I'm sure you all do because you see the world as I do. Can't probably control everything, and to not, somebody offers you a beautiful iron wood stove, and I was, again, that Colebrookdale Severn only used it 1 year. And I can't take the health risk that was a potential cause. I'd put the old one back and vent straight up versus out the back. Which is, I offered it to him. It's just a beautiful thing. He won't even put it in a fireplace. This just blows my mind. Blows my mind. But anyway, guys. So I'll wrap it up. They've kept it going this long. They'll keep it going longer than we could think. At some point, they will scare the heck out of people and close the banks, and the currency will. They'll all the drama they'll kick up will be unbelievable when it's time for the U.S. dollar to finally end. And there's nothing to worry about. The new system's already finished. They'll keep people mostly whole. Oh, you had $15,000 in your certain bank account, and you'll get now 7,000 universal credits or whatever the new system will be, which will be just about the buying power of what you had. It'll be a little bit of pain because they have to make it look real. A little bit of bail-in, they'll whatever somebody had 8,000 account, there'll be 4, they'll take half of it. Some emergency measure they'll have to bail in, and a bail-in is when they just reach out and steal your money. They'll have to, but then they'll make you whole again when they introduce the new world currency. It's all in terms of it, the script is absolutely written. Every bit of it is written, and with all the AI and the digital twinning and the AI modeling, it's been running simulations on itself for years. I mean, if it literally put your feet up and just laugh. It will be scary, but don't be like your neighbor and run down to the grocery store and fight over the last can of tuna. That's my fucking can of Starkist. Give me that Starkist. You fight over the last can of tuna. And when we were really into prepping, we'd think we would, I like to design stoves and I like to think through scenarios. And we would think like alternative ways. Well, don't run. And this is the mindset when we believed this was coming, this collapse. I was in the middle of it. I believed it all. Of course, why shouldn't we? You don't go to the grocery store. You go to the cat food store. It's nice to feed your cat, but you could, this is real meat. People won't run to the cat food store. These cat food stores, aisle after aisle after aisle after aisle of canned meats. That's all the protein you need. You'd have to eat some cat food, but that's at least you could get by for 2 or 3 or 4 months. This is the way I thought. This is the way many of us thought. And it's actually, if anything were real, that's actually not a bad prepping strategy. It wouldn't be the fancy feast. I feed Gouda, when Gouda and Cooper, when they were alive, now it's just Gouda, they would eat the fancy feast Florentine. It's all white. People think they're giving their cat some sort of real good dish or whatever. Fancy feast Primavera. The other one, and what's the other one called? Tuscany. It's the Medleys collection, which I still have to buy for Gouda. Lazar eats it too, which he usually gets cheaper shit like Friskies and kibble. If you had just a few spoonfuls of that shit, you could get by. So we used to think like this: run to the cat food store instead of the grocery store. Anyway, guys, as usual, middle of the road's best. Can you get by for 2 months? Great, The only issue is like here, I have a well. There's no public water. I have a well, so you think, well, how would you, put something down the pipe or whatever to get the well water? That's an issue. But other the two, just some basic things, some common sense. If things aren't somewhat back to normal or restored in 2 months or less, well, then we're all screwed anyway. So what? I'm not going to make it anyway then. Okay, but if things get worse, then if it's 2 months plus, well, there's no chance anyway, unless you're one of these hardcore prepping assholes. Anyway, guys, thanks for. Oh gosh, I can't end the video. It's well, I have that other segment where the phone call came. It's 33 seconds. I did not look and see what Duluth and Dubuque. I did not even at all look at CNN or BBC. So, and I always need to do that before starting a video. Trump administration warns flight cancellations could get worse. Oh boy. If this is as bad as things are, as I've said many times, things aren't so bad. I'm not afraid to end the video at 33, guys. I'm just tired of all the bullshit, all the comments. I can't take it. And I don't want to delete these people from the channel. They're just trying to be funny. So I guess that's it. Okay. I'll make sure it goes 34 something. Thanks, guys. I'm sorry I wasted that last minute. I'm sorry I wasted your time.